Guys, this brand new Fortnite Festival season really feels like Fortnite kind of tricked us, and honestly, this is one of the weirdest things I have ever seen. If you guys don't know, Bruno Mars was a part of one of the biggest twists that nobody saw coming with this brand new update. There's a new festival season in Fortnite today at the time that you're watching this, and of course, you probably already know it is Bruno Mars. Not deadmau5, not Daft Punk, but Bruno Mars. Now, I just want to put this all out there. I like Bruno Mars. I don't have anything wrong with him. I actually love some of his music. The guy's obviously insanely talented and makes banger after banger, but let's be real, this pick caught everyone completely off guard. There's a bit of controversy already brewing, as you would assume, for just about every new festival season or really anything new in Fortnite, but it's not just about who it is, it's about who it isn't, which is the kind of the common theme when we see new icons brought into festival. There was a build-up, there was a lot of community expectations, and Fortnite low-key tricked everyone with bringing Bruno Mars into season 9 of festival. Now, if you guys don't know, this icon debate for this next festival season has been going on since Sabrina Carpenter initially dropped months ago. It's been a total carousel. You know, first we had leaks before Sabrina Carpenter was even out that the next one was going to be Daft Punk. A lot of people were really excited about this. I honestly don't know much about them, so I really didn't care all that much, but I know a lot of people were super excited about Daft Punk. Then the entire community locked in on deadmau5, which there were teasers in the game, which we will get into later, but a lot of people were not nearly as big of fans of deadmau5 as they were Daft Punk. I think Daft Punk is probably nowadays more well known than deadmau5 because deadmau5 is kind of like a marshmallow thing. He's kind of like a DJ, but there were actual map teasers with deadmau5, his ears, his helmet, everything, and people really locked in on him being the next icon skin. And out of nowhere, literally 2 days ago, Bruno Mars leaks came out of nowhere. The most prominent leakers said this is a heavy rumor. I know we've been saying for the entire season that it's going to be deadmau5, but it looks like it may actually be Bruno Mars. And then literally the next day, yesterday, he's officially announced. No time to react, just boom, there he is. And it's not even that people were necessarily hyped for deadmau5 specifically. Like I said, a lot of people really were not excited about him being the next icon skin, but there was at least some sense of build-up and payoff. Bruno kind of just felt random. Now, Bruno Mars feels like a letdown to a lot of people right now. One of the reasons is because we already have Bruno Mars in Fortnite. Not just one skin, but multiple Bruno Mars icon skins, and that is a huge part of why people are annoyed. It's not really exciting when we've already seen the artist in-game. It feels kind of recycled, especially when the festival mode, in my opinion, is kind of made to spotlight new musical collabs, not ones that we've already seen before. It would kind of be like if all of a sudden they announced that the next season of festival is going to be Eminem themed when we already have like 4 different skins of him. That would be a definite letdown. A lot of people online were saying stuff like, even if it wasn't deadmau5, give us someone new. And yeah, I completely get that. Even though a lot of people didn't like that deadmau5 was going to be the new festival skin, they would have taken that over someone that's already been in the game multiple times. I completely understand why people are kind of upset about this. To be honest, to me, it kind of looks like Epic took the safe route with someone kind of already familiar instead of giving us something completely fresh, which I'm not really sure why they went in this direction. You know, maybe a lot of people think that they may have switched actually who they plan to be the icon last second because of the backlash, but we will talk about that a little later on in the video. I want to talk a little bit more about how the deadmau5 teasers on the map felt so intentional. The map in Utopia City and Supernova Academy, they had posters. There was some like stage design, I think, somewhere. The whole like techie sort of like a DJ RGB aesthetic, it was screaming deadmau5. Like there were literally posters with his helmet on them, and it wasn't like some tiny hint either. It was like a full-on like visual campaign that looked tailor-made for him to come into the game. To go from that to Bruno Mars literally within a few hours with just about zero connection to the actual theme that we have this season makes it feel a bit like a bait and switch, intentional or not. And I understand that Fortnite didn't actually, you know, confirm anything. They didn't come out and say, you know, deadmau5 is the new icon series skin, and that's what a lot of people are going to say in my comments. But guys, Epic knows exactly what people are going to do with those teasers. They know they're going to assume things. They know that they're going to do that because just like with literally every single other festival skin we've had, at least Hatsune Miku and Sabrina Carpenter, we've had teasers in the game that link towards them before they even come out. So it's not like completely crazy to think that deadmau5 was going to be the next icon skin and kind of expect that. Now this leads into, did Fortnite possibly mislead us on purpose? Now this wouldn't be the first time Epic planted really obvious teasers when it comes to Festival. Like I talked about before, they did it for Hatsune Miku, they did it for Sabrina Carpenter, and those were accurate. So it makes you wonder, did they plant the deadmau 5 style, like, you know, aesthetics on purpose just to throw people off? You know, it's not a crazy theory. Fortnite knows that leakers are going to pick apart the map within minutes, so Epic might have been trying to bait us in the wrong direction, maybe so we would be surprised, or maybe just to show like, hey, leakers don't know everything. That kind of makes sense to me, but to be honest, I'm not really sure if I completely believe that, just because if they already had everything prepared for deadmau, even if people did have a ton of backlash, and I don't think this backlash was anything in comparison to Hatsune Miku, it would have taken them a while to come up with all new cosmetics and all new promotional material for Bruno Mars instead. Now, like I said, some people think Epic had deadmau ready, saw the backlash, and pulled the plug at the last second. I understand why people feel that way. Of course, the sudden change, the lack of like a proper build-up, it all felt a little too last minute, especially with no teasers like pointing us towards Bruno Mars whatsoever. But honestly, I really don't think that's what happened. These things take time, you know, the emotes, the animations, the music integration, the stuff just doesn't happen overnight. I think Epic did have Bruno Mars planned for a while. They just chose to reveal him in the most confusing way possible. And honestly, you guys, if we end up don't getting like a deadmau skin in the item shop, I would be very surprised, because there's no way they're just I really don't think Fortnite is going to have just like posters of an icon somewhere of a music producer like that and not actually put them in the game. I would assume that we are going to get him sometime this season, or maybe he will be the next icon skin. I'm not really exactly sure, but in some way he has to be involved with what is going on in the game. Now, just in general, you guys, there was a lot of deadmau divide when it comes to like the community and stuff. It's probably the least like mainstream artist Fortnite's used for festivals so far, and a lot of people were really mad about that. I didn't mind it personally. I think it's cool if a lesser known artist, or like an older artist like that used to be much more well known, uses Fortnite to kind of grow their reach. If someone plays Festival and discovers deadmau for the first time, that's a win in my book. But the backlash was definitely real. Some people were straight up saying, who even is this guy? I couldn't believe people actually didn't know who deadmau was. So Epic probably felt that heat and pivoted. That's what a lot of people think, but like I said, I really do not think that is what happened. Now, of course, like I said, this isn't the first time the community has been split about this. Look at Sabrina Carpenter. Half the community loved it. The other half didn't care, thought that she shouldn't be put in Fortnite. Hatsune Miku, this one got absolutely torched online before it even started. People were absolutely losing their minds that a Vocaloid was gonna be the headliner, like it wasn't even a real person. People were getting mad because people were calling it an anime character. That was just an insane time to be a part of the community and be making videos. I thought that stuff was so crazy to see. But here's the thing, a lot of people, including me, ended up actually loving that festival season. It actually grew on me. I wasn't a huge fan of them doing that, but I really didn't care all that much because I'm not, you know, a huge like Fortnite festival person. But I came out of that actually being a Hatsune Miku fan, and I actually love some of her music now. So I'm not going to count this Bruno Mars one out, but I get why people feel let down right now, and I advise you to do the same. You know, if you're upset that it's Bruno Mars and someone that we've seen before, or if you don't know who Bruno Mars is and doesn't listen to his music, I would definitely give it a chance after this. So overall, you guys, I don't think this was some evil master plan, but Fortnite definitely knew what they were doing with the teasers of deadmau. And while Bruno Mars is a very solid pick, obviously he's an icon, it's hard to feel excited when the reveal felt kind of rushed, disconnected, and there were really no like hype to it in general. And we've already seen him in the game before, like I mentioned earlier. But let me know what you guys think. Were you team deadmau, or are you cool with the Bruno Mars twist? Let me know. Drop a like on today's video. You watched all the way to the end. You must have enjoyed, so drop a like. Subscribe to the channel. I make videos like these every single day. Use code PROZEROYT, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.